Academic Writing, Lecture number 10. The theme of the lecture is plagiarism. According to the plan of our lecture, we are going to discuss the following questions. The first, the definition of the plagiarism. Second, types of plagiarism. And the third is tips for avoiding plagiarism. The word plagiarism has come from the Latin word plagiarius, which means the kidnap. As the plagiarism definition suggests, when someone uses the work of another artist without properly citing the source or giving credit, then that will be an instance of plagiarism. Plagiarism is a punishable offense, and it is a form of intellectual theft. Plagiarism is the act of presenting another's work or idea as your own. According to the Oxford English Dictionary, plagiarize means to take and use as one's own the thought, writings or inventions of another person, to copy literary work or ideas improperly or without acknowledgement, to pass off as one's own the thoughts or work of another, and to commit literary theft. In other words, plagiarism is an act of fraud. It involves both stealing someone else's works and lying about it afterwards. There are several types of plagiarism, and common of them are the following. Complete plagiarism. It means submit another author's work in your name. Next type, source-based plagiarism. It means reference an incorrect or non-existent source. The next type is direct plagiarism. Copy text from another document word to word. The next is self or auto-plagiarism. Reuse a major part of your own work without attribution. The next type is paraphrasing plagiarism. Make a minor change and use others' writing. Mosaic plagiarism. Interlay someone else's phrases or text within your work. Accidental plagiarism. Unintentional paraphrasing or copying due to neglect. Inaccurate authorship. Authorship instead of acknowledgement to contributors and vice versa. All these types can be divided in two groups: accidental or unintentional plagiarism, and the second, intentional plagiarism. What is the difference between them? Accidental plagiarism occurs when researchers or writers use the word or thoughts of other but fail to give credit and quote unknowingly. Intentional plagiarism occurs when researchers or writers know very well that they are passing off someone else's works or words or thoughts as their own and not giving the credit. There are the examples of these two types of plagiarism. Intentional plagiarism occur when you copy a friend's work, borrow or buy assignment, cut or paste from electronic resources, download essays from the internet and present as your own work. Unintentional plagiarism, not knowing how to acknowledge and incorporate sources of information through proper paraphrasing, summarizing, and quotation. Careless copying, cutting, and pasting from electronic databases, quoting excessively, and failing to use your own voice. Accidental plagiarism happens or occur in your research when you copy words from a source but quotation marks around them so that you do not forget that they were not your own words. When your notes include an idea, write a parenthesis whether it is the source's idea or your own idea. Check your final text against your notes. Make sure that you didn't accidentally use wording or other content without giving credit for it. Why you shouldn't plagiarize? It is a lazy approach to work. It is unethical. It is against humanity because people's works and ideas are their personal property. It means you are stealing them. It discredits your institution and your integrity. It is illegal. It is against the law. Illegal. How to avoid plagiarism? There are some recommendations. Cite direct quotations. Cite all your sources. Cite ideas that are not your own. Cite sayings or quotations that are not familiar. Cite facts that are not common knowledge. Cite all printed, digital, audiovisual, online, and interview sources. In other words, to avoid plagiarism means you must give credit when you use another person's idea, opinions, or theories. You use quotations from another person's spoken or written word. You paraphrase another person's spoken or written word. You use facts, statistics, graphics, drawings, music, and etc., or any other types of information that doesn't comprise common knowledge. There are 3 techniques to avoid plagiarism. While conducting your research, you might find that others have developed similar ideas, and you should. There are 3 techniques: quote, paraphrase, and summarize. What does it mean? 3 simple ways to avoid plagiarism. The first is summarize. When you summarize, the text you write is much shorter than the original text. You must reference the original source. You must use your own words, usually with a very limited use of quotations. Second way, quote. When you quote, you must reference the original source. The text produced in the exact length of the original text quoted unless ellipses are used. You must use the original author's exact words and put the quotation marks around them. Include the page number of the original source from which you borrowed the author's original language. And the third way is paraphrasing. When you paraphrase, The text you produce may be shorter or longer than the original text. You must reference the original source, and you must use your own words. There are some tips for avoiding plagiarism. Read a passage and then write your interpretation of it with the book closed. Do not attempt to paraphrase with the passage right in front of you if you feel unsure about how to do it. Double check to make sure you didn't accidentally copy phrases. Cite every piece of information that is not common knowledge. This includes opinions, arguments, and speculations, as well as facts, details, figures, and statistics. Use quotation marks every time you use the author's words. Quotes of 5 lines or more are indented as block quotation and single-spaced. In this case, quotation marks are omitted, but the source is cited. Block quotes should be used infrequently. Strategies to avoid plagiarism. Practice good research methods. Know how to quote. Know how to cite. Know when something is common knowledge. Know how to paraphrase. While paraphrasing, you should rephrase the words of an author, putting his or her thoughts in your own words. When you paraphrase, you rework the source's idea, words, phrases, and sentence structures with your own. Like quotations, paraphrased material must be followed with in-text documentation and cited on your works cited page. Paraphrase when you plan to use information on your note cards and wish to avoid plagiarism. You want to avoid overusing quotations. You want to use your own voice to present information. Thank you very much for your attention.